5 minutes, we're ready. Thumbs up, we're ready to go.
Then what happened?
I said, hey, we're ready to go. Bob looks right through me and looks at the team leader and goes, you guys need to wait.
Bob was the CIA's base chief in Benghazi.
He's on the phone talking to somebody. I assumed they were trying to coordinate us to link up with 17 February.
Which is the local
militia.
Looking back, the team believes that if they hadn't been delayed for nearly half an hour, things might have turned out differently.
If I gave you that 30 minutes back, would Ambassador Stevens and Sean Smith be alive today?
Yes, they would still be alive.
It's the book that Democrats and those still seeking to hide what really happened did not want you to see, read, or maybe even have it even exist. 13 hours told the insider's tale of what really happened during the attack on the American embassy in Libya that left Ambassador Christopher Stevens and others dead. The words created quite a stir. Now imagine what Hollywood will do to the narrative. Welcome to MidPoint, the author of 13 Hours, the inside account of what really happened in Benghazi. Mitchell Zuckoff joins us. Mitchell, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Mitchell, we hear that Michael Bay is in exclusive talks to become director of the movie. Can you confirm that?
That is correct. He is in talks. I think it's moving ahead very quickly, and I think we'll see the film next year.
What are you hoping comes out of this? Because let's be very frank, Michael Bay is a guy that we think of immediately from the Transformers, and every time we see one of his movies, we think of lots of explosions, lots of excitement, and big-name actors. But you've got to bring this movie to the screen, I would imagine, and at least try to maintain the truth factor that's in here. Hollywood has a habit of really taking great stories and putting a lot of extras in it, but you got to make sure this one is pretty close to the truth. That's tough to do.
I think you make a great point. First, the clip that we opened the segment with had Tonto talking, Chris Peranto. I think Chris had the best line when he heard that Michael Bay was going to be directing, that we really could have used some robots that night. And in all seriousness, though, Michael Bay has approached this as a great filmmaker, and he is an amazing action filmmaker. And fortunately, he's working from a script that is very true to the story. It's true to the integrity of the story. It's true to the facts of the story. And he understands that it doesn't do anybody any good, and it doesn't benefit either him or the viewers to fictionalize this. It's a great story and an important story already. His job, and I think he recognizes that, is to put it on the screen as it's written. So
you're confident that it's going to remain as close to the story as possible and leave, hopefully, a lot of the sensationalism out of it?
I'm very confident. The script has been written by a wonderful, remarkable writer named Chuck Hogan, and Chuck is a guy with great integrity. And what's on the page and what's been discussed with the Bay Company, with Bay Films, is I think we're all very much in sync.
We're talking about a $30 to $40 million range on the budget. Is that accurate?
That is what I've heard as well. That, the least important person on a movie set is the author, and so they leave me out of the money talk.
Well, before we move on to a couple of serious objects here, seeing as we're talking about the movie, any idea yet of the names that we'll see involved in the movie? Have you heard any?
I've heard any, but they've asked me not to talk too much about it. But I think we're going to see some great A-list actors here.
Can we say Bruce Willis will not be in this film? Is that possible?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Okay. Well, we're going to hold you to that one. Just in case he does show up, he or Mark Wahlberg, if either one of them show up here after the last Transformers movie. Let's get to a couple of serious things here. Cheryl Atkinson, who worked for CBS News at the time, she claims now that her former bosses purposely hid a clip of President Obama refusing to call the Benghazi attacks an act of terrorism in order to get him reelected. Your thoughts when you hear that?
I was disturbed when, I'll be honest, as a journalist, as a journalism professor, when I saw that unedited clip, I was disturbed by that, especially that it took so long to get it out. The semantics matter, and what we call things and how we characterize things. And as journalists, it's our job to be as transparent as possible, that no favor to either side. And so I found that very troubling.
Is there any doubt then in your mind that after seeing the clip that indeed the president and his administration were using this and making sure that it did not hurt his reelection?
Well, I think, frankly, that let's be candid about this. A president is a political position. And politics, of course, figure into many or most of the things that happen in Washington. And so I think it would be naive of us to think that they were not aware of the political ramifications of a terrorist attack on September 11th, a matter of just weeks before a presidential election.
Mitchell, who is the one person, if you can point to it, or maybe it just goes right to the president still because the buck stops there, that is still to this day, in your opinion, stopping the full, unfettered truth from getting out about Benghazi?
Well, rather than point the finger at one person, I'm going to take my optimist hat and put on my optimist hat. And I'm very excited about the fact that the House Select Committee on Benghazi is doing the work with unfettered access, according to Representative Gowdy, the chairman, that they are having a full and open and deep investigation that's ongoing right now. And I have great confidence that that committee is going to get some of the unanswered questions answered.
I would imagine then at this time that you still to this day have got to be stung when you hear Democrats, the left, the right, whomever, analysts, media say, come on, this is a ridiculous story. Let's just let this go. There's nothing here whatsoever, and all you guys are doing is talking about it, and you're bringing it up because it makes really good content and really gets people riled up. That's got to stick in your craw.
It does. It absolutely does. And more importantly, it sticks in the craw of the men who were there that night, the men who I've had the privilege to work with and to write this book with. They knew that until we wrote this story that virtually no one had any idea what happened that night. People were talking as though they had a sense of what happened and how these four great Americans died that night, and how, frankly, 24 Americans were rescued and saved and whose lives were on the line were it not for the men who I worked with. So absolutely, this is a moment in American history. We stop and learn about these moments to prevent them from happening again. One of the remarkable things that came out in the first hearing of the Select Committee was how many times there have been attacks on American embassies, diplomatic bases, and yet we seem to not learn from them. We have to learn from history, or we're, of course, doomed to repeat it.
I have read the book, and it is indeed gripping. The book, once again, is 13 Hours, the inside account of what really happened in Benghazi, soon to be a major motion picture and hopefully out in 2015. Mitchell, I have a feeling we'll be talking a lot between then and now as everybody starts to look at this anew with fresh eyes. Thanks so much, and again, congratulations on the movie.
Thank you. I look forward to it.
All right, break, and we return with former presidential hopeful, American ambassador, and political analyst Alan Keyes. And at 51 minutes after the hour, seeking and finding one of the more hateful and dangerous talkers on cable television.